If you feel like your relationship or your friendship with a narcissist was nothing more than a waste of your time and you're still angry about that and you're still focused on that, please listen to this video because I want to tell you about how going through this was absolutely anything but a waste of your time. You're learning or have learned about narcissism. And with learning about narcissism, I'm sure you have read things and listened to videos about illnesses and other disorders as well. I'm sure we're all halfway through a PhD program simply by searching around on the internet and reading and listening to things. And this will actually allow you to avoid people like this in the future. Not just narcissistic people, dramatic people, highly toxic people, all that stuff that you don't need in your life. It allows you to do things like not get seduced by love bombing. You spot it, you see it, identify it, and you don't get sucked in with a person who, when you do hang back, you can probably pretty quickly identify as either being highly narcissistic, a manipulator, a predator, someone that you don't want in your life. You're learning, or have learned already, how to spot these people and how to spot the red flags. It doesn't take long at all once you're kind of clued in and you know how to read between the lines. You can see that it's a red flag when somebody wants all your time and attention and they're relentless in their texting and their calling and wanting to see you. It's not good. It's not a good sign. It's not a good sign when they get upset if you tell them no, or you tell them you want to take things slowly, or you tell them that something doesn't work for you or makes you uncomfortable. It's a red flag. It's a glaring sign. You'll see those and more. You'll see all of this, and you'll know right away this person is already someone you need to distance yourself from. Again, they might not necessarily be a full-blown diagnosable narcissist, but it's dramatic and it's toxicity that you don't want or need in your life. And once you come through this, you will have learned how to very quickly identify people who behave this way. You're also learning how to grieve. You might be learning about going no contact, staying no contact, how to actually get good at walking away from these people and moving on with your life. There's a lot to learn. It's very daunting. You fall down a rabbit hole and there's so many different forms of information coming at you, but you're still doing it. You've either been through the grieving process or you're in the middle of it. You're going through it. You're focusing on how to break the trauma bond. Maybe you already have. You're reading up on detachment, maybe even self-esteem boosting, and a plethora of other knowledge. You're getting all of this and doing all of this work. Maybe you're journaling and even doing other things to help your healing and help move your progress along even faster. Maybe like me, you've never done anything like this before. Imagine the knowledge that you have now that you didn't before. And on top of that, imagine the knowledge you have right now that millions of others still don't. You're learning about yourself. You're learning about empathy, codependency, and other things about you, like your resilience that maybe you didn't know you had before. I didn't know. Your strength, how smart you are, how much you've overcome. Maybe you're finally realizing you should appreciate yourself a little bit for everything that you've gone through. Again, like me, maybe you didn't know that you had those traits and abilities to be able to bounce back from anything. But you know what, survivor? Now you do know. And how wonderful that going through something like this, unfortunately, it shows you who you really are and who you need to be. You can seriously overcome anything that you set your mind to. And once you're aware that you have the power and the resilience and that kind of knowledge, who can stop you? The answer, unfortunately, is yourself. But other than that, the answer is absolutely nobody. Nobody can stop you. Nobody slows you down. Nobody gets in your way when they're too busy not being able to get out of their own way. You're learning why you choose individuals like this to be friends with or be partners in a relationship with. You'll figure out why you have been choosing people. Is this a pattern? You can work backwards and sort all of that out. You're probably doing that right now if you haven't already. Do you pick the underdog? Do you pick the victim? The project? The wounded bird? The damsel in distress? The bad boy? We can sort out why all that is, why this is happening. Is this a pattern? And once you know who you pick, you can go deeper and you can ask yourself, why? Is it to distract yourself so that you don't have to take charge of your own life? Do you need to do this to feel useful or loved or helpful? Do you feel that you don't deserve any better than this, so you better just take this while the getting is good? You can figure out why you're making these decisions. You're going to start seeing these patterns in people that are, narky, and other people as well as yourself. You now know that we have to look for patterns in people. Are they consistent in whatever, good or bad qualities? Are they not? And we have to look for those dramatic changes in those patterns. You're rediscovering who you are, who you need to be, where you want to be, maybe even finding new friends, new hobbies. Maybe you have a new purpose, or hell, more than one. Maybe you have new passions. You might have even gone a step further and gotten yourself into therapy, working on yourself, talking with somebody, making yourself a priority, probably for the first time in your life, survivor, if we're being honest with each other. You might be learning to boost your self-esteem, taking care of you, and realizing how important that is. Several years ago in therapy, my therapist handed me a piece of paper. She said, write down numbers 1 through 5. And she said, list your top 5 priorities. So I thought about it for a minute or two and I filled it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she looked at me and she goes, y'all done? I said, I sure am. And she goes, great. What number were you? And I went, oh, I didn't even consider that. And you better believe that in the several years since all this has happened, that has definitely changed for me. And you might want to do the same kind of exercise. Where are you really on the priority list? It better be number 1. And if you haven't done any of these things yet at all, or you're halfway through, whatever, don't be hard on yourself. This is a process. I guarantee whoever you are, wherever you are, you're being too hard on yourself. You're struggling with perfectionism. You're asking too much from yourself. You're struggling with an ego bruise. Why did I let this happen? And, oh, I was so stupid. That was one of the things I said to myself quite a bit. Don't do that. You're so hard on yourself when all you've done is made a mistake. And now look at all of this valuable knowledge and understanding that you get. So don't worry about where you are. You're exactly where you need to be. And you'll be finished with all of your healing and move forward when you're ready to get there. With all you learn about narcissists, how to avoid them, how to handle them, and how to make yourself the best version of you that you can possibly be, I just have to ask how anyone could think that this is possibly a waste of time, the secrets and treasures and little nuggets about yourself. I would just do anything to get half of what I've gotten from this experience. That's just simply how I feel about it. If you'd like to talk to a fellow survivor one-on-one, get some help and some support for what you're going through, you can send an email to BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to set up appointments for those private sessions. You can do it by skipping the email if you want to do that. There's a link for you to click down in the description if you would like to do that. This is an incredible learning experience. It's painful, but absolutely possible. You can do whatever you want to do. I learned more about myself and who I needed to be than I did. And I learned a lot about narcissism, but I actually learned more about me. And that's what is actually even better about this. Who I am, who I needed to be. I also learned what was acceptable treatment and what was not. I learned and took the time to learn what a healthy relationship looked like, since honestly, I hadn't ever seen very many that were healthy. So thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't for more videos on narcissism. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.